Good evening. Here I am in the dark with that like that. It's me, David from PhotoPixel, and once again without my to-do list open. No problem. Let me just get my chat working properly. So, biggest news. Got some new pets today. A dog and a cat, which both needed a new home together. And so now it's here. The new home is. Alright, we should have a to-do list coming up. Just as soon as this can finish loading. But last time I got my node graph actually hooked up and driving the bots. So, okay, looks like chat is up. What's taking so long to load there? This is what I dislike about any online task list. They can just randomly not load up. So, local is often better. There we go. Looks like we're up. Yeah, so I've got the bots following routines, so it's getting a little bit more sophisticated. I don't actually have sensors yet, but the enemy sensor is kind of working for all of the bots, even if they don't have it. So that's the next thing to do, is basically make a robo part that represents the enemy sensor and make it so that it can be attached. And yeah, it's basically an enemy anywhere within laser range at the moment. That's how I'm treating it, but yeah, I might need to adjust how that works. Yeah, and then so this is the thing that's stopping enemies from being able to actually have that decision functioning unless they have that part. So let's take a look. Here's some code. That's the leg script. It's whatever I randomly just opened. But here we are. So this editor, I don't have a button to toggle the editor either. I might add one of those really soon too. So there's a graph routine editor. Okay, but let's not let that sidetrack us from the main thing, adding the enemy sensor. So the first sensor I've ever added. Let's just put a little icon there to show what I'm working on. And away we go. You can't see that because I wasn't on this one, where it has this. But anyway, here we go. So that should be running. What have we got going on here? Yes, we got one of each kind of bot that has got a routine. I'll just get my routine pulled the manual way. Yeah, then to reselect this to have that work properly. That's another thing to fix up. But okay, it looks like we're just starting, shooting a laser, blocking, and walking forward. That generally doesn't show up very well. Just for this size, can I... I could just zoom it in a bit. my mic is not clear. Hey, that's no good. And actually, now that I look at that, I haven't actually got. I don't think I got my output going to the right place either. Because I did not hear anything when that message came through. But, well, I don't know if you can hear me or not. Yeah. What do I need? I need an echoing sound test of some sort. It is probably due for a replacement, this, so I think there's some loose connections, and sometimes just moving things around can help. But I will need to just get something that can echo my sound back to me to test it. Oh yeah, give me a few minutes there to take a look. Okay, let's see. Hmm. Okay, let me just mute that here. All right. I've fiddled with some stuff. So, does that sound any better? I think it might sound a lot better, but maybe not, still not perfect. I think I got rid of the robotic tones at least, with a very high-tech unplugging and plugging back in cycle. So, yeah, there's that. Excellent, good. Yeah, I couldn't listen through OBS without stopping the stream, so hopefully all the levels are still good for that. Fantastic. Okay, back in action. Yeah, so got some new pets. So now there's a cat exploring the house. I don't know if it's going to come in here. And a dog, which is its friend. Also, well, not so much exploring. It's done its exploring. Now it's doing some sitting around, trying to sit at the average location of where everyone is. So, halfway between where I am and where everyone else is at the opposite end of the house. Okay, so this project here is command bots. So let me just turn that back out. So yes, we've got our factories on this side, enemy factories on that side. They're making robots that have different arrangements of parts, and I'm pretty sure they're all just following their default routine. We've got our robots, so we can select any of these factories and see what they're making, and it looks like most of them are just making robots that just have standard legs, which is actually more expensive than these other ones. If you're just walking forward, you don't need any of that. Let's just give that one lasers. Anyway, so this is the old routine editor, and it's not actually doing anything anymore because it's the new one that's doing stuff, but you have to reselect at the moment due to a bug I need to fix still. So this will be following a shoot laser, then block, or try to block, they'll malfunction because they don't have a shield, and then walk forward. So I'll get rid of that block. I don't have a way to delete these yet, but it can just shoot the laser and walk forward. But we can do better than that. We can put an enemy sensor there. We don't actually have the sensors, and that's what I'm about to add, the enemy sensor. So if the enemy is there, like if you can sense the enemy, then shoot the laser. If you can't sense the enemy, then walk forward. And then that'll just keep looping around. So these are following a much better routine where they should just keep walking forward. I also realized at the end of the last stream that they will walk forward onto each other to get in range of the enemy. So definitely need the proximity sensor that they can use to not bump into something, whether it be a brick wall or concrete wall, a friend or an enemy. So yeah, the next thing to do is actually add the sensor, so that you have to add it here in the blueprint. Oh, let me select the factory here. So I've got spaces on the head for sensors, but I haven't got any active hotspots that you can drop anything onto, and I haven't got anything that can be dropped onto there. So you can see those are just for like the arms, those highlight. I've got a couple of different types of legs for here, and that's all. So basically adding the sensor spots and a sensor for enemies, that is on the agenda today. Yeah. So what do I need first? Well, let's take a look at the code. Well, it's not just the code. If I have a look in here, I've got all my robo parts in here. So those are the parts that can be attached to the robot. So I've got the budget legs here. So I've got like a prefab and a scriptable object there. Got the laser gun here, scriptable object. And we've got a few animators and things to control the laser itself and the firing of the laser gun. And there's a script. We've got the shield. And this is just a hittable, activatable part. which is a thing. There are the standard legs. So here is the standard legs scriptable object. So it's a robo part. It's got its name, the mount point that it mounts onto. So you can see I've already got a sensor mount point in the code. I've got actions it can enable. And that is interesting because this won't actually enable any actions, but it will enable a type of sensing. So I guess I might need to add a way to represent that, and then it's just got its like cost and build time, the sprite that it uses, and the prefab for it. So why don't I create a new one? So scriptable objects, robo part, and this will be just an enemy sensor. Enemy sensor. I really need to get my other keyboard back in action because it is not yet. Oh gosh, long day. And oh yeah, so you ask, Abuk Judana, any idea to this project? Does that answer your question, what I'm doing next with it? Or did you want me to talk about all of the ideas for how to proceed with this project? Because there are a lot of them. That could be a bit of a distraction. Got to be careful there. Not to get too carried away going through all of those ideas rather than implementing what I still need to work on. Geez, I did a bit of doing stuff with tools that I haven't done for a while. Gave myself blisters. Okay, so this is enemy sensor. The mount point is sensor. So I'm going to need to add those mount points. I don't even know if I need a prefab for this part since it doesn't necessarily have to have a visible component to it. What is the don't worry about the legs. Signal type. Yeah, that's the thing. So signal types. No reason they have to have just one signal type, so I might as well. I think maybe you could call it like emitted signal types. To RoboPart. Yeah, need to add that to the scriptable object. Okay, and how much metal and energy will this cost? Well, I'll just compare it to some other things. So we've got our budget legs. 1 metal, 10 energy, build time 1. The standard legs. If I could hear some interesting storm noises or something. Or if it was just some other thing. Anyway, okay, 3 metal, so triple the metal and build time. 30 energy. Those budget legs, 10 energy, so yeah, triple the cost basically. A shield, very metal heavy, so it's 10 metal. And I've got it taking 40 energy and build time 2, not very complicated. Laser gun, 100 energy, build time 5, costs 4 metal. So I think it'll have a low metal cost, a bit of an energy cost, and medium build time. It's less complicated than a laser for sure, but it's probably not too different from a laser really. So we might go 1 metal, build time 2, and $40 energy. Yeah. Or yeah, let's do that. 140 and 2. Yeah. Now I don't have a sprite for this yet. I could make one. Let's see what happens. What do we want here? Oh my god. Somehow I managed to open Edge. Windows, when I say I want to open a sprite, I don't mean search for a sprite. I don't even want my start menu to do search. It'd be really nice if there weren't like a bunch of hoops to jump through to just not have editors. Not have everything be trying to do searching and AI stuff. Here we go. There's my command bots sprites. I'm just kind of keeping everything in one file for the moment. There we go, so I've got that. So let's go here. And just like delete that. And then what am I going to put in here? It's going to be some kind of enemy sensor. This is called a sprite. It's about $20, I think. So yeah, it's just a pixel art editor that has been decent for my usage. Not sure how much I would recommend it, because I know there are other tools and I haven't had a chance to really play around with them. So I'm undecided to what extent this is my favorite or not. What are we doing here? Just do this. Kind of depends what you're doing. I'm not sure how I want to represent enemies here. We're talking about robots, so I'll just do a bit of turn on a bit of symmetry. Yeah, sort of. It's like, it isn't exactly the same as a lot of the old UIs. It's more kind of pixel art themed UI. Is how I look at it. But I can't say that I dislike the UI being how it is. It's like I think a lot has been lost in modern times just by trying to like improve, or no, just changing things that don't need changing and basically making them worse. Windows 11 is super egregious for that. There's just so much stuff in there. It's just been Just very, very ruined, like user experience wise. Just I don't know what it's in the name of. In the name of just changing things for no reason. Could be. I'm not sure. But yeah, sometimes it's not the best just to keep pushing things forward when what you've got is actually already really good and doesn't need changes. Or maybe I'm just old. But yeah, it'd be nice if they hadn't just gone and well, even things like Notepad in Windows 11, it's like it's broken. You can't. It's not reliable, and that was like 90% of what I had going for it. So I'll take a reliable tool with an old UI over a flaky tool with a new UI pretty much any day, I think. Just trying to see what can I do to make something look. Oh yes, it looks a bit cross-eyed. That's the only problem here. Trying to make it kind of look angry with just the eye shape. I think it's okay if it looks like that though. Oh, that doesn't quite work, does it? I'll just use the old brush tool to move all this stuff across a little. I'm actually going to move all that down a little as well. Yeah, that's much better. Better be careful not to fiddle with this for too long. On the other hand, the icon's going to be too small for this to actually. What was that? To actually matter, I think, but still, I'm going to fiddle with it just a little bit in ways that'll make it look technically subtly better without necessarily having anything that you would notice. That actually helps a lot with it not looking cross-eyed. I'll keep that symmetry on, actually. It'll just help me to... Whoa. What are we doing here? What kind of robot are we making? No, that's the wrong kind of robot. I have somehow accidentally... That's something weird. There we go. That's what I need. I just need to undo that. I need to start that about here. And I'm nearly done tinkering here. Just going to add a bit of a thing. Is that better like that? I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just literally poking around at it and seeing what happens. Sure, that'll do. We'll call that an enemy sensor icon. And we'll just export a sprite sheet from that. And make sure it's output into the right place. Yep. All right, so we should have a sprite now. It looks like everything here just broke. So I may have accidentally changed something. Let's have a look at that sprite editor there. Oh, we've got a new row now. And for some reason, this just loves to Unity sprite editor loves to just add new height on at the top, which just breaks everything. Hopefully not too difficult to fix up here. I think I fixed this before. This doesn't select, does it? That just creates a new one. I better look this up. Okay. Selecting multiple sprites in the sprite editor. There was a discussion I've read before. Maybe that will help. Yeah, no, it looks like maybe no good option. So really it's just this Y position that's an issue. Instead of 192, it should be 256. So I'll probably just change that manually on those. Okay. We are adding 64, that makes sense. So these guys, 212 plus 64. 276. All right, now these guys are going to be all 192. Probably a reason to put different types of things in different sprite sheets, really. I'll get there eventually. Okay, this thing, we need to add 64 to that. So that'll become 6, and that'll become 9. Okay. I'm going to have a bunch of things with the 128 added. Oh, if I change the order of the sprites in the editor, that would work too. Yep. Okay. There. Interesting. That becomes that plus 6. All right. So, nearly all sorted. Okay, 20 plus 64 is 84. 6 plus 64 is 70. Why have I got that like that? Interesting. 21 plus 64 is 85. This one, 79. Okay, we got 70. Yeah, that'll be the same as that, of course. 91. 88. Cool. Okay, now I can just grab this. Okay, we got 64 by 64, and we'll just call this let's go sensor enemy. Okay. Seems fine. Let's apply that. All right, that's looking a bit normal. Back to normal there. And so yeah, now I have this without losing the other things. Where was I up to there? So I had my robot parts, and I got my enemy sensor here, and I didn't have a sprite for it. So now I can go to the sensor, and it's the enemy one. Okay, we got no enabled actions. We've got the costs. I don't have a prefab for it so far. Let me have a look at, say, these budget legs prefab. It's got a transform, it's got a legs script. And there's a sprite renderer. It's been a bit of a while since I worked on this. So let's have a look at what the robo part is actually used for in the code. Where's my solution editor? And why can I hear someone up and about out there? Alright, I'll be back in just a few minutes. Just need to check on something. Alrighty, let's get back to it. Okay. Okay, so where I was in the blueprint editor, we have our, excuse me, we have our mount point UIs. So they're all mount point UI. So these guys what basically have the highlighting bit where you can drop a certain type of RoboPart. And we've got our RoboPart cards, which are like that. And this thing when we change selection. Okay, so mount part I think is what gets called with a mount point and a RoboPart. So what do we need in here? Just setting apart. Well, I think first thing to do there is actually just, now that I've got something here for an enemy sensor, why don't I go over to that blueprint editor, just here. Let's just make that visible. And make the routine, I should move that to right near there. Make this routine graph editor be not visible so I can see that. And I think I've got this other routine editor canvas, which I'll need to keep because it's got the blueprint button. I might just co-opt that into something that's got a few buttons to open different UIs. Okay, so I've got a command palette routine track. What are we talking about? This is not the one I want now. Blueprint editor is what I want. So we've got a panel. Now we've got the mount point diagram here with the mount points. And I'm not sure where I'm getting the list of parts from. But I might as well just add the parts here. So, oh, that's all in there. Okay. So I've got this parts manifest, which has all these different things. So, I don't know, just duplicate this shield one. Are these all coming from a prefab? RoboPart card prefab. Fair enough. Okay, we'll just rename this one to be enemy sensor. Got a RoboPart card, and the RoboPart just needs to be enemy sensor here. So hopefully that'll be enough for it to work. And now for these mount points. No, it's really just going to duplicate this mount point. And put it up there. Got our drop target here. And a mount point there. So I think that the size and shape of this is determining where it will display. Oh, no, can't zoom too much into that. It's not going to work out too well. Okay, what do we got? We got 70 something, 80. Let's just go 80 by 80. And maybe -40. Just making these round numbers. Okay, so we've got that. Now a drop target. I'm going to just bring in and make it more like that. Just exactly matching that. Okay, and then I'll call this sensor 1. I'll just duplicate that to make something called point sensor 2. And that will live there. And then you'll never guess where sensor 3 goes. All this UI I'm intending to replace at some point, so that's why I'm either not, or at least trying very hard not to spend too long on trying to perfect it. Okay, so this is let's just call that mount point left arm. Just renaming these so they're a bit organized. Which may be at odds with what I just said about not spending time perfecting it. Alright. Oh yeah, there was something I possibly forgot to do here. This is not a legs, this is a sensor 1. And sensor 2. Sensor 3 and sensor 4. I could actually go through and do like every mount point. Just needs backpack and antenna. Might as well. Won't take very long. And then I never have to do it again. Okay, so I'll pop antenna right there. Negative 4 point something times 10 to the minus 5. I think that we could just call that 0. Oh yeah, it should be, because it should be centered. And yeah, we can make it narrower, like 60 maybe. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those. Anyway, that's antenna. And we'll just make that narrower. Omega Killer. What is the difference between sensors and antenna? Yeah, so the antenna is... sensors are for sort of generally sensing stuff in the environment. Antenna is intended for like communication between different bots, so they can potentially send signals to each other. I haven't really done much thinking into that, just conceptually for that. And also, welcome, good to see you. Let's just get the backpack one on here. Let's go with a bit of a wider, higher, something like that. The backpack is intended for things like missile launchers. Put that just below the arm ones. And give it a bit of a bigger drop target. Kind of want that to sit on there, and just get it roughly right, and then set it to a round number, 67.8. Okay? About 68. That'll do. Okay, so I think we have all of the sensors. Just need to make sure they're set to the right type. So backpack, left arm, right arm. Okay, they're named wrong. even though, yeah, I guess it's if they're facing you. Left and right arm, sensor 4, 3, 2, 1, and antenna. Good. Now for the parts manifest, I've got that enemy sensor card on there. Let's see what happens if we try and use this. Oh yeah, that's all working. Blueprint editor, let's select this. There we go, we got that. Okay, those are lit up. Could choose somewhere to put it, and it's just going to sit there. So now we've got an enemy sensor on there. And the only thing I don't have is where the other robo parts are able to specify which actions they enable. We don't have anything to specify which signals the sensors can generate. And I haven't thought too much about, like right now, the robot itself is just reading the signal. Like it's doing the raycast required to detect the enemy. They're handling that, but it would be better if there was just a generic interface where the sensor itself could just be coded in isolation to do its thing, and then it just feeds into the bot when it's reading that. I think I'll do that incrementally. I also think I should shrink that down a little bit so it's got a bit of a buffer zone around it. Anyway, we've got that sensor, but it's not doing anything. So let me update that now. I'll just find we got these guys here, and these actually have a particular thing, rubber part card, so I'll just jump to those. Oh jeez, blisters get painful when you let them break open. Should have kept it covered. Alright, now we've got system.io in there. Alright, so what we've got is a robo part. So I think that is our scriptable object, is it? Yes, it is the scriptable object. So here we've got these enabled actions. I basically just want to add that. I don't know if I would call it enabled signals. I think emitted signals is better. So now we can put any signals we like that it emits. Nope, that's not it. And it's probably just going to be one, more or less, for everything, but it's more flexible if I have an array, so why not? That's just going to take its time. All right. Now that I've got that, I should be able to get this enemy sensor and get its enabled signals list, and it's going to enable the enemy signal. And that's all. Now some of these signals, hit points, time alive, battery level, are just going to be based on the internal state of the bot, so it doesn't actually need that signal. But you can see I've got the proximity one there, so why don't I make the proximity sensor as well at the same time, because that is just going to be a bit of repeating the same thing. Let's go that circle, Where is the center of this? If we go from about there, oops, forgot about the symmetry. That looks symmetrical. There. What kind of tolerance have I got on there? Completely intolerant, please. Can I expand this? I could just erase that really, couldn't I? It's not that complicated. Or I could be doing both ways symmetry. There we go. Okay, now that I've got that one, let me just duplicate it. So do a new frame. It would have been maybe clever if I'd put the robot on a separate layer to the rest of it. But that's alright, I'll just fix that here. Okay, so that's the old one still there, yep. That's the new one, and let's just draw on top. What are we doing? Proximity. Alright. Well, okay. I'll grab, say, some of this color. And we'll do like a wall. That would be even better if I can do a sort of a straight wall. I'll fix it after. There we go. And then we need something representing our little bot. Like here, for example. Alright, so we've got that bit. What's going on there? This is 2 pixels of that, and that's not. So more like that. That's looking weird. That's that wide, and this is also that wide. This is that big, and that also is that big. So is it literally just something with the legs? Yes, that one is too far from the edge. Let's go like that. And just get some of these pointy corners off so it looks more futuristic, curvy. Maybe do the same to the wall. those pixels there filled in. Let's make that a bit wider so I can do that. Okay, and then some kind of a thing representing being too close. Boom, giant exclamation mark. It's looking pretty good. Just give it a little bit of like color. Gotta stop holding down Control while I do stuff. I might put that right around the edges actually. Not sure if we're doing good or bad with that. Will be maybe the opposite of what I just did, the inverse. Colors. That'll do. I'll put a blue thing on there. How do you make a robot look like it's alarmed? Like, something like that. But probably just straight lines because it's a robot. It's in the wrong place, but that's pretty good. There, now it's got hair. I'll take that hair off. There we go. It's so alarmed all its hair fell off. Alarmed, red exclamation. Yeah, I think so. Pretty common. I don't want too many red exclamation marks, but yes, I think you're right. Does this robot have a neck that's too long? I'm going to just try a little something here. Just do that. Oh yeah, that looks much better. And then I'll actually be able to grab some more pixels in here. And that probably looks a little better. I'll leave those like that for now, but if I one day go back and polish this, then I'll review that. Also, this could be like a little to the left or something. I feel like that's a bit more centered. I'm never going to get it perfect. I'm going to undo what I did as well because I don't know. I feel like if it's good enough, then any changes possibly are not in favor of not improvements, just by virtue of the fact that they're changing something. But who knows? They're not evenly spaced. Doesn't matter. That's good. At this point, I'm just tinkering, basically. Because I can. But does that line across there kind of reduce the effectiveness of these lines here? And to what extent does it matter, if any? It's wearing bike shorts. Perfect. Perfect enough. All right, now Sprite, you hop out of the way, and I'll just create another robot part here, and that'll be proximity sensor. No code for that one yet, but that's fine. That's a sensor. A proximity sensor. Doesn't enable any actions. Does emit a signal. And that is a proximity signal. And oh, what's the cost? Well, the enemy sensor is more complicated. So we'll go with 1 metal. Doesn't need a lot of structure. Now we've got 40 energy and 2 build time. Proximity sensor, let's give it 1 build time. And we'll just go half the energy. And now Sprite. Oh, I need to slice up that Sprite. So, everybody in the world, slice up your Sprite. That is a reference to a Spice Girls song. Just in case anyone was wondering whether or not I'm cool. The answer is yes, I am. That should be at Y0. There we go. Okay. That one is called Sprites 0, and this one's called Sensor underscore enemy. So let's change this one here to be called Sensor underscore proximity. Okay, so now I've got the sprite ready when I apply that. And now I should be able to get that rubber part done because I can select its sprite. There we go, I've got the proximity sensor. Now I don't have a prefab for either of these. And I'm not sure how much of a problem that is. Just pop these into there. And I'll just duplicate this enemy sensor card, change it to be proximity sensor. And give it the proximity sensor. Okay, so that should give us those. Got all my mount points. So now I'm just going to need to use those emitted signals to decide what happens. Now, where do we use these enabled actions? Let me just Shift F12 that one. Enabled actions. Here. Okay, so this is when we try to call activate in a activatable part. So just try to activate every part. That'll tell us if the parts are working. Oh, that's actually good because now that I'm thinking about this, if we've got a weapon that's on cooldown, it could actually emit a signal that tells whether that weapon is ready or not. And so you could use that as a decision point. So yeah, the way that this is working is with calling out to the part. Got run out of steam. I don't mean the. What is the categorization of steam? Like the this thing. The keep my games up to date and let me play them. Except for the fact that I don't have a big enough hard drive to load all of them at once. Anyway, yes, I did not sleep enough last night, and it's catching up with me right now. So, got about 20 minutes left of my planned stream time. Not sure if I'm going to make it for that long. Yeah, so I think I won't try to do something like that at the moment. So I might just go into the robot and just try and make the code work in there. So this is where it's relevant. I hope this is not slowing stuff down. The fact that I just randomly loaded up Steam. Let me move that over here. And also close it because I don't want Steam to be updating anything while I am using all of my thank you for telling me about that. Man, it was really nice not having any responsibilities when I was younger. I could actually just look at all of those deals and think, does that look cool? Now I have to think, does that look cool? And do I think I'll ever have time to play it within the next 10 years or something? Anyway, so we're on a node. And to avoid having an infinite loop. Okay. Oh, this infinite loop. Got it. But that should stop it from being infinite anyway. Okay, so when we're getting that active output of the node, that's probably the bit where it's relevant. So let me jump into that. Yeah, sensor inputs, etc. Now, so far all the threshold decisions are just based on the internal state of the bot. So won't touch those for the moment. But here, if it's an enemy signal, good point. If something got broken, but I'm not actually attaching parts at the moment, so there's no way to break that. I think the only part that can be broken independent of the robot at the moment is the shield. Was this something I got working before? I think so. I think this bit wasn't working properly, so I just computed the distance instead. Based on that didn't need to be left. It was just sensing the wall. Cool. So pretty much, do we have a sensor that emits this signal? That's the question I want to ask. Now, what is the deal with start action, next action? So we've got parts. So yeah, we've got parts. They are iRobo parts. Oh, that's the interface with the mounted parts. And that parts is the iRobo part that's probably set up somehow. We'll start. Got an update. We got spawned. Gets the iRobo parts and play spawn. Yeah, so that's not going to help because I'm not actually. Well, no, so far I haven't made a part for each sensor. Like they don't have prefabs to get attached to mount points on the bot, but I could. They could just have a prefab that doesn't have a sprite. To render, that would be fine. But where are we going to find that anyway? It's going to be in Blueprint. Sensor 1. Emitted signals. So that's the kind of thing I'm going to look at, the emitted signals. What are we looking at here? Do we want? Okay, where's this robot's blueprint stored? Robo blueprint. Okay. So what's the problem here? Okay. So I'll just get all of the sensors. Sensor 1, sensor 1. Oh, hello. I have a visitor. Yeah, sure, come on in. There's a spot just there for you. And then if I stop using TypeScript/JavaScript syntax here, then it might even work. I can't do that when it's implicitly typed, eh? These are robo parts, aren't they? There we go. How do you like them apples? Who's the visitor? Oh, it's a dog. Because I got a dog today. And he has decided to come into the office. Gotta clean those feet. Yes, we want emitted signals, so pretty much for any of these sensors, it'll be the same sort of logic. We got a cat as well, which is his friend. I want to go from the sensors to all of the emitted things, emitted signals. I have a feeling there might be some cleanup for me to do somewhere though as well. Oh well. That is the nature of having a dog. Alright, let's just say list of signal type. Signal types equals new one of those. And then can we do for each of these? Oh, yeah, dogs and cats are traditionally enemies, right? I've heard. Whenever we've had both, they've pretty much got along pretty well. But I think these two do have a bit of a go at each other from time to time, but nothing too serious. Oh, is there another visitor in here? I think so. Yes, there you are, Smudge. Oh, he has been observed. He's out of here. Yeah, looks like that. Add range. Yeah, that could work. Yes, the emitted signals, like so. So yeah, I think this basically we could move up to here. Even though it's not always needed, depending on whether it's doing just like an internal state reading or actually sensing something. So yeah, which signal types supported. I think I'll redo this at some point because this is not doesn't really need to be this doing all of this here. I think if I just do things a different way. Anyway, now that I've got that signal types, contains signal type.enemy. Actually, instead of that, even, that's something I can do up here because I already have the relevant signal type. There we go. So now, pre-computed ahead of all of that stuff, whether I have the signal for the sensor or I have a sensor for signal. It's what it should be. Oh, jeez. There we go. Okay, got that. So, if we have the sensor for the signal, then we can do that. So I guess if we don't have the sensor for that signal, then what are we supposed to be doing here? Get active output. And so that's going to be just that'll be output 1. Sorry, well, it'll be 2, sorry. Yeah, so basically, if we don't have that sensor, then we're never going to get that signal, so it's always going to be no enemy. So it'll just act like no enemy. And so yeah, now that should actually just make it work. And I think that was working before. I'll give it a try. And do I have time to quickly get that proximity sensor working? It's going to be basically the same as the enemy sensor, except I want more layers. I want it to be able to detect any collidable object. Anyway, I'll play that. And let's try getting, say, this one here set up. So we'll give them an enemy sensor and a proximity sensor, which right now does nothing. But they will have a build cost. And then let's pop that open with not a button right now. Whoa, what's going on here? That's not quite what I expected. Okay, something is wrong with these lines. Definitely something very wrong with those lines. I don't think I've done anything that should make those lines render as very wide, that colored lines. I didn't think I'd done anything like that. Well, that's just rather annoying. So let me see if I can fix that. What is that going to be in? Oh, maybe there's something to do with that not being active to start with. Yeah, hi. That's me, all right. Yeah, if you want pets, you can have them. We're just hanging out in here doing a stream, working on this game. We heard the cat was very shy. Especially of new people. Maybe it just depends on the vibe. Yeah, that seems to be drawing the right kind of line now. All right, so let's pop one of those in and grab that there. And oh yeah, the point was just get it to do the old walk or shoot routine. It does have a shield that it doesn't need. Let's give it an extra laser. So, okay, these definitely look broken, so that's got to be probably something to do with this error we're getting on robot line 109. So it's going to be maybe this. Part unemitted signals. Fuziwa. You're currently taking Unity Learn. On the last mission, still struggling with coding. Oh, yeah. Is it okay to feel overwhelmed? 100%. It is normal to feel overwhelmed because there are just like lots and lots of layers to it. It's like you're walking up a staircase, and if you look at the whole staircase at once, it looks almost insurmountable. But just keep taking the steps, and you've got it basically. Let's see, tips to improve and get better like me. Well, for one thing, keep in mind I've been doing this for I don't know how long now. More than 10 years. Probably been tinkering since 20 years ago or something. So a lot of how much better at stuff I might look is just that I've been doing stuff more for longer. And I did a lot of coding before I did any Unity. So that's makes it easier for me to handle the coding side of things. Is that the blueprint editor? Looks like Foundation of Unreal's blueprint system. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I need to check that out properly sometime. I need to kind of have a holiday when I get time to mess around with that. But yeah, main thing is, pretty much keep in mind everybody in tech is highly prone to imposter syndrome, the feeling that everyone else knows more than you. To some extent, it's because like everyone else does know more than you about something, because there's so much that you could potentially learn, more than anyone could ever learn, all of it. And so, there'll be a bunch of things that somebody else knows better than you, and then there'll be, some things that you might know better than a lot of other people. And it's also, yeah, that's true. Simple language like C can be overwhelming. I mean, C has got less guardrails than other languages too. But yeah, I mean, even like when it comes to game coding and just how to do things in Unity to make stuff do what I want it to, like I struggle with that. When it's stuff that's not familiar. So yeah, pretty much I guess probably one of the biggest things is just get comfortable with not knowing how to do things, because 90% of what I do in my day job, which is coding full time on like front-end web development, a lot of it is just figuring out how to do things that you don't know how to do yet. So I don't think you ever reach the point where you stop bumping up against things that you don't know. And that's really the main skill set, is going from that point to, learning how to figure out what you need to know in order to get it done. and the bigger your gap, like knowledge gap between what you're going to need to do, or what you'll need to learn, and what you already know, the more daunting it might seem. But there's always usually something that you can do to get a bit closer, and chip away at things. And that's also why I kind of have like a list like this where I'll have, I like using workflow because it lets you sort of break things down to as many levels deep as you need to, and then you can just zoom in. Like, I've got kind of these things down here, and I can just like zoom into here and just think about this one thing without being overwhelmed by all the other things around there, but still have the context for it. So, yeah, I could probably give a bunch more advice, but I think that's more or less the core of it. Is like, yes, it's normal to feel overwhelmed, and it's like most things, just practice. And biggest thing, don't get caught in the trap of just watching other people do stuff and thinking of that as yourself learning how to do that. It's different. You can read as many books about, I don't know, what running as you like, but until you actually start running for real, all that theoretical knowledge doesn't have anything to kind of hang off. So that's where just try to make stuff that's not too far outside of what you know now. Get the repetition, get building things. That'll work a lot better than watching 1,000 YouTube tutorials. Yeah. There it is. Anyway, I've kind of burned through all of my available time. What was I trying to do here? I was getting a null pointer, and I think it's because we don't have maybe this signal type. On every routine node. Right, what do we got? We've got our node.signal type. Oh, hang on, where did we hit that null pointer? Null reference 109 here. Signal types should be defined. Part should be defined, unless I've done something wrong here. Which object is not set? Smudge, what are you knocking off there? I'm going to need to get a lot more of my things a lot less knockoverable. I think I have too many things that are not in drawers or boxes or things like that. Because cats like to mess with things. So it must be part that's not there. Why don't I just do this? And there are always going to be maximum 4 of this. Oh, right, of course. yeah, there might not be a sensor 1, sensor 2, sensor 3, or sensor 4. So, yeah, that's literally just that. Yeah, we haven't put that sensor on there. If the part is not equal to null, then we'll do that. Now we should be fine. That should fix it. And I'll save the proximity sensor for next time because I'm already over time. And the last time I just did one little quick thing when I was over time. It turned into like a whole bunch of little quick things. And, being like a couple of hours over or something like that. So let's add an enemy decision because I think that was part of what led to the thing. Just unplug that. That should be fine like that. This kind of doesn't do anything because there's nothing that goes to it. All right, looks like everybody's moving again. And I might just set up like, let's say the third one here. So let's give these guys, oh, what's that doing? Oh yeah, that's just walking straight into there. And that makes sense because it doesn't have an enemy sensor on it. So this one also doesn't, right? Oh no, that one does. So now I was able to sense the enemy and start firing. So yeah, I was going to set up something that doesn't have an enemy sensor to show that not working. But we've already just done that. What about this? What if we do a routine for this that's like, if you detect an enemy, then block. Or actually do like a long block. And if you don't, then walk forward. There. So this will be like, blueprint with those. So now it's just going to walk. Oh, it doesn't have an enemy sensor, so there we go, I've shown it working. Let's give it an enemy sensor. And so now it's just going to walk forward. Not that one because it doesn't have the sensor. It's just going to smash through everything. All right, next one. Well, that was very effective. That factory is gone. All right. Yep. Detects the enemy and just stops and blocks. And hopefully that'll have the enemy just destroy itself against its shields. Yep. Oh, I think, oh yeah, cool. The fact there was an enemy right there meant that it didn't run into the other one. Definitely need that proximity sensor. Okay, well now it's just going to sit there malfunctioning because it's on those shields. So I definitely need to have something that where it can check whether a part is working. I think as soon as there's not an enemy nearby, or they're starting to make double shielders on there as well. If you got shields, you win by not moving. I think they're all going to get blown up by this one spawning. Yep. Oh, this is interesting. Now these guys I could maybe get this to do, oh, that's not what I want. I want the button that doesn't exist yet. All right, let's get that working. All right, so what I could do So I could have that loop work with a label. Let's call it A. There we go. So I'll put a label in there and grab a go to A. Oh, pretty nice. Thank you. There we are. Still not using that block. So now this is our little loop for when we're on the right track that we want to be on. But I'm just going to grab some walk forwards. Is it about 6 of them that we need to get to the right place? So I'll grab those. And then I'm probably going to have one with a broken routine here where it just keeps walking forward. Anyway, I want to turn right, walk forward, turn left. There we go. So all that stuff should maybe get it into the right spot, and then we can start sensing for enemies. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we really need 1, 2, 3, 4 steps forward. So we'll just see how this one goes. Oh, it can't turn. It doesn't have the right kind of legs. Let me get the right kind of legs on there. There we go. And now let's just get that open again, reselect it so that the connections are right. So I think we need those 4 steps. Then we can turn right. So those ones I'll just leave there. Gets a bit messy, but hopefully now this one can go and start getting in on that lane there. And I could have it detect enemies before moving into the lane. Oh, what happened there? Uh-oh. Something didn't quite go right there. So it should just be doing this, but it did some turning instead. So it must have hit something that wasn't plugged in. I'm not going to debug that today. I'll unplug these things that aren't meant to be there. And I could probably make that a lot neater. Like that. That's the getting into the other lane. And this is this bit. Oh, and then I think I can make it even neater as well if I grab another go to A and just put that there. And I could also just add another label called B. So then I could unplug that and just do go to B instead. And those are in a weird order, but yeah, that's possibly a routine that will work. Hopefully that one that went walking off into the wall there was just not didn't have the full program yet. Or maybe my go-tos aren't working yet. They should be, because oh wait, no, maybe they're not at all. Yeah, I think I just haven't implemented go-to nodes yet. When we're getting the active output, of something. I'll just put it to do here so that I don't accidentally stay up another hour. Implement following go-to nodes. Or I could just make it so that go-to nodes always have their output one set to the label they go to. That would make it just work, I think. All right. Well, I better call it there because I'm already tired, late for bed, at risk of staying up way, way, way too late if I don't stop. So, thank you for watching. I've been me, David from Fertile Pixel, and I've been working on this. I've added the enemy sensor, and I have limited the use of the enemy decision node to only if you have the sensor. I haven't done that yet, and I also need to make go-to nodes actually work. Good night, Omega Killer. I will see you in the next one, which I believe to be 3 days from now. There was one more thing. Make go-to nodes actually work. Oh yeah, implement proximity sensor behavior. There. It should be fairly easy because it's quite similar to the enemy sensor.